we are a Christian. We are native from Iraq. Our nation is Assyrian. We are Assyrian. This is Assyrian flag from 4,000 years ago. And they come, those ISIS, and they're killing these Assyrian people with no reason.
We are all here to go against the group who's in Iraq, who's taking the land and the houses of all the Assyrian and Christian, who's in Mosul. It's one of the oldest cities in Iraq, and it's actually the Assyrian city. It's about over 7,000 years old. They're taking them out of their houses. They are killing them. They are raping the women, and they just are in the streets. I know there's a lot of things going on in the world, but these people have no weapons, have nothing to defend themselves. They just kiss their family. They work all their life. They work all their life to build a house for themselves. And now somebody from nowhere, they're not even Iraqis. They're not even Iraqis. I don't know where they're from. They're not even Muslim. We all grew up in Iraq, and we all get along with Muslims. They're not their religion. I don't know where these people come from. They just putting them in the street, and they putting them with a T-shirt like this, and they making them wear it. So it's kind of like a barbarian. They just take them out of their land. That's their house.
There's lack of water, lack of food. There's no UN there because they are the Nineveh Plain. You know, Nineveh Plain, there's no access to water there, clean water. And they have to do something. We urge them to do something to provide humanitarian.
The Christians need help in Iraq. All the refugees in the Kurdish side also, they need support from outside. They need the UN to step in and help.
The ISIS, which is called the Islamic State terror group, took over Mosul by the sword. All the Christians left. They put checkpoints. They took every Christian family's properties, cars, and everything. And they also took their ID, so they don't have no ID, nothing with them when they left. Basically like an exodus. They also took a lot of girls. A lot of families who have called us, and they said they had to leave their girls because the terrorists said, we're taking your girls and you have no choice. And a lot of men and fathers pleaded with the terrorists, said, kill me, take me and everything. But they said no, so the families ended up leaving without their daughters. And we all know what happens to our girls when they get kidnapped like that. We want help. We want humanitarian aid. We want intervention. We want safe haven in Nineveh Plain. We are the Assyrians, indigenous population of Iraq. We are Christians since the time of Christ. We have churches that go back to 1,800 years that have been desecrated, burned down. Content from the Aramaic language, we still speak it, have been all burned down. So we do need help. We need help. We need help. I can't stress enough that we need help. What is happening, it is a genocide against our people. We are an ethno-religious indigenous population of Iraq, and we need protection, and we can't stress it enough.
Now we have more than 120,000 of our people who live in Nineveh Plains. Now they are in danger because Daesh or ISIS still beating them and trying to enter these cities around Mosul.
We think of our Christian brothers and sisters. We think of the Yazidis and the other minorities who are also being persecuted and are suffering so terribly in Iraq. We're with them in prayer and in our expression of outrage at this evil that is being done to them. We think of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph fleeing for refuge to Egypt, and they speak to us today. So we urge the government, the Canadian government, to do what it can to provide help of whatever can be done in Iraq and in neighboring areas, refuge for those who are being persecuted and suffering, and to do whatever it can do to make it possible for them to come here. And we will do what we can. We'll be with them to help and support them as we have in the past, all together.
Mother of Mercy, our life.
We never thought about it, but it is happening, and it's really the end of civilization in that part of the world. And what is really very, very disappointing, the whole world is silent.